All right, you know her as Octomom. I know her as Nadia Suleiman. She would like us to forget the Octomom character permanently. I've seen her say she'd rather that character that we've created in the media be smashed. And she's had to defend herself against new accusations that she's an unfit mother and that the kids aren't safe. Welfare workers apparently visited her home this week, and there were claims that she and her 14 children were living in a situation that was not safe and not adequate. And tonight, she's also accused of spending more than $500 on her hair. While at the I'll give you a chance. She's wanting to get in here, all the while receiving $2,000 a month in food stamps, which, by the way, I have recommended that she take, because when you hear what she has to spend on food every month for the 14 kids, there's no other way to do it. My Facebook and Twitter accounts are blowing up with questions and some harsh comments. I'm going to start it. You're saying shoot, but let's just take it on. Let's see what happens. All right. Dion on Facebook says, I want to know why she has no plumbing or clothes on her kids while she's spending hundreds of dollars on her hair, and God knows what else if she's truly locking them in rooms to keep control. Someone needs to step in. And Jill writes, why on earth would she barricade her children in a room away from her by propping a chair against the door handle? That, I believe, there is no excuse for that. And you have responses to all this.
Yes, and none of that is accurate.
None of it's accurate.
The kids play with the doors, they play with the open and close. They're actually, I sleep on the floor, and the kids have all access to the beds everywhere. And the big kids put that door there because it's not closing. The door doesn't close, so they put the chair there so they won't go in and lock themselves in. So they're all over the place, but they're so obedient.
Well, I've seen them. I've been to your house, and the cleaning service that through Life Changes we arranged for you once a week showed up. That was one of the things I wanted for you.
Ironically, every Wednesday they come there.
And that was when ABC News was there.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And they'll be here all year. We wanted that for you. You let something slip out here that was not the case when I visited your home. You're sleeping on the floor?
Well, now I am, because I'm migrating all the kids upstairs slowly.
They were already in your bed when I was visiting.
No, the big kids were, and the twins were. Well, now it's like seriously all the 8 now. I'm like 4 at a time. I'm bringing them upstairs. They're in the boys' bunk beds, and then
there's no place for you to sleep.
Well, right now I'm temporarily crunched on the crease of my bed with 4 or 5 other kids, or on the floor. But it's more room on the floor.
You seem a little more.
I'm accepting of everything.
Well, beaten by all this. You seem.
I'm happy. I'm happy just because the kids, the little ones, they're thriving, and that's all that matters.
Well, and then what about with the Child Protective Services? They came out.
Okay, what happened was, ironically, the plumbing, from the beginning before I moved there.
Child Protective Services came out. Well, stay focused here.
And cleaned.
They came out. They felt there was no problem. The police showed up. Right. Social services show up, and things were adequate.
Yes, and the toilet situation. The one toilet that backed up and was not working, and little kids wouldn't listen to me. They kept going one day, and the next day, plumber came out. Lady plumber.
Okay. Yeah. Lady plumber?
Yeah. She was great. And they found a harmonica in there.
All right. So that's why the toilet was blocked up. All right. So let's get some of our callers and see what they want to say. You ready for this?
Can I defend a little bit? I should.
You can defend as much as you want, but I think people get.
It seems so much money, but the friend.
This is the haircut now.
I owed her so much from so many other haircuts. We're talking like 29 haircuts.
And then why did she report you as somebody spending excessive amounts of money?
We figured out later on.
You were set up.
Yeah.
You're set. All right, let's get to callers. Nancy in New Jersey. Go ahead, Nancy.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hi, Nancy.
I myself, I'm infuriated hearing the news about spending $500 on your hair. I mean, there are people every day struggling to get by while collecting welfare. And I just think I don't know how in the world you can justify spending $500 on your hair if you're collecting welfare.
Okay.
It's infuriating.
Okay, so Nancy, now let me say something about the welfare part. I've been trying to get her to get on assistance, and she won't do it. She takes food stamps. I don't know how she can go forward safely with these kids without it, Nadia. I don't understand it. I've tried lots of things, and nothing's really worked. So the food stamp, something I encourage, but then there's this $500 on the hair that makes everybody angry because
I'm angry too because of the situation. For 2 years, I'm going to defend myself. I have to. 2 years, I was cutting my own hair with actually the kitchen scissors or whatever I have, and I never wear it down unless I have to do an interview. So I'm always keeping it at my friend.
$500. Justified. $500 versus $2,000.
$250 was a blowout, Brazilian blowout, and then the product she said I had to use to maintain it. The rest of the money was for all the kids' haircuts and prior haircuts that I owed my friend. And you know, she's a good hairstylist, but nonetheless, this is unexcusable that she premeditated it and planned to come out, take pictures unbeknownst to me. But I do believe that in consideration for 29 haircuts from way before 14 and another 14 plus mine, That's actually, when you add it all, multiply it all together, that's from way before I owed her money.
Nancy, why do you get so angry with this stuff? What makes you so? I understand the money, the taxpayer.
Where my anger comes from too is I know that people have to do what they have to do, but my anger comes from too is there's already negative stereotypes out there regarding people on welfare. You know, and I think that when an Octomom Nadia is pretty well known.
Yes.
And so people read about her, and I think that when we read about this and we read about like people, you know, possibly abusing the system, I think it just adds.
Do you see? You're right, Nancy. Great point. You would be perceived better if you just took welfare and took care of the kids with it, which you're entitled to. There's 14 kids.
A few days back, before the one day my toilet stopped, a few days back, a friend called me and said she insisted she comes out to cut my hair, to do my hair.
You think you're set up. I know. I get it. You're set up.
She planned it, and it's hard for me to say no. She was a nice woman, good hairstylist.
But the setup of the night, we're having this conversation again about how you plan for the future. Let's take more calls. Jackie in Alaska. Go ahead, Jackie.
Hi. I'm a little angry at the whole setup here that she has, and like Nancy, you know, she's on welfare and whatnot. But
Jackie, I'm going to interrupt you. She's not on welfare. She's taking food stamps. Right. And hang on a second. What is your food bill per month?
Over $4,000.
So she has a $4,000 food bill a month. She takes $2,000 in food stamps. There's no way you could do that on your own without the food stamps. I understand it. And what about your house? I mean, is it going to be your house next week?
Yes, we're doing something to do. I can't disclose the details. I'll tell you later, but that's going to be fine.
Hold on, I want to get to the house later. I want to stay with feeding the kids.
Because I know you're you're genuinely caring.
I've been trying.
You have to understand something.
I'm getting frustrated.
I'm not anymore because of the opportunities that have just been coming to me because of something I told you.
But they keep coming and then not coming.
Unfortunately,
I feel like you're my you're my like a child
relative.
of mine. Yeah.
The thing is that this opportunity will lead to another, and another. I didn't want it. See, why would I be reluctant for over 3 years to do this? It was that posing, which if you notice...
The nude posing. You said you wouldn't pose nude before, and then you posed partially nude.
Did you look at it,
partially nude.
No, I was holding, everything was covered.
I understand, but partially nude.
Right, and
it was
because
tasteful.
Of that,
it was tasteful, but you always swore you wouldn't do that.
And I'm going to eat my words when it comes to taking care of my kids.
All right, let's talk about your kids. Kelly in Texas, you have a question about Nadia's kids. Kelly?
Okay.
Hi, Drew.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I just wanted to ask you, since the nanny thing didn't work out,
right?
Would you consider doing just respite care for your autistic son, and then maybe big brother, big sister?
Oh, Kelly, hold on. Well, you're asking
for some of the older kids to get them some emotional support out of the crazy house. I'm not saying it's a crazy house, but does that mean
it's a crazy house? 14 kids is a crazy house. It is a crazy. Although she has those kids really well structured. You can't. I keep interrupting you, but
I have to say something though.
Please.
In regard to my older kids, I agree with you. I have because especially this is a big reminder being set up by a friend I thought was a friend. This reminded me that I can't trust anybody but this close circle of friends that I have, a handful of them. And they are the ones I am beyond grateful. They help me with my older ones. They take them every weekend, and they are so privileged. They really are. And in regard to the respite, you know what? My son, Aiden, has, I already signed him up for summer camp. He's going to be going on all kinds of excursions, and he has a specialized school where he has so much assistance. So everything in my life revolves around them. They're my priority. That's why I was reluctant when a friend calls and say, "Oh, you need to have some style. Your hair is always back. You have no makeup on them." And I get easily influenced, and I've learned I can't trust anybody.
Okay.
At all.
Let's just add the score up. I mean, I've been to your house, and you run a tight ship. You're in a rather remarkable household. You have to. You couldn't survive without. Number one. Number two, the kids. We've established with you in the past that the fertility treatment was a misadventure. It was an accident. You didn't seek. It was a failure. You also have a severely autistic kid. I mean, just that one child, just that one child is a full-time job.
Right. So you knew what my schedule was from morning
I've seen it, and you sleep on the floor. Yeah. And your house, we've given you cleaning services because that was getting bad. Yes, it does help. But when you add the score up, it's sort of an insurmountable situation. It's an overwhelming situation.
At this point, I think once we've already hit rock bottom financially, nothing can get. All that's going to happen is we're going to go up.
You're still in your house, Nadia, and I'm worried that house is not going to be there next week.